podcast, the Couch GM Pod.
Wow. Well, last year it's Jake the Snake that heads off to Wake Forest. This year it is Jimmy Rogers that is now breaking news, heading to Iowa State on a 6-year deal. Just after 1 year at Washington State on the Palouse. We're going to get reactions from a few different people, but if you're just seeing this right now, Jimmy Rogers is headed to Iowa State, 6-year deal with them in the Big Ten. We're going to bring on a few different guys. We're going to start with a legend at Washington State. This is Jack Thompson to get his initial reaction to this news. Jack, how are you doing tonight? I mean, what was your initial reaction?
Well, when I first read it, I was in disbelief. I was thinking, just another one of those X rumors and whatnot. Then next thing you know, I get a call from my buddy John Glass saying, "Did you see it? Did you hear it?" And my heart dropped. And after that initial wave, that shock, whatever, I think it turned into anger. And a lot of, different emotions. But I will say this, guys, you guys weren't even born, but, I hate to say it as much as I have, I've been through this before. I had 4 head coaches in 4 years. Our program was, almost left for dead. But it's going to sound really corny, but I'm going to lean on this. And I encourage all you, particularly you, the younger generation, right? This is part and parcel of being a Coug. I mean, we're just a tougher breed, and we have different experiences than other colleges perhaps, but it's made me tougher. It's helped me in my life and in my business career. I compete, I fight like hell when I'm in business, and I learned all of that, frankly, from my days at Washington State. And it's the culture that we have. And if I were to tell anything to anyone listening and watching, buck up. You're not a Husky, thank God.
There we go.
You'd be melting away somewhere, in the corner crying. Let's just get pissed off and let's do something about it. And the bottom line is, it's not if we're going to get through this. We will. It's, just when and how. And at the end of the day, how are you going to be when you look back on how you were during this time? Will you look back on these times with pride, knowing that you fought and that you did your part to help, get the program right, going in the right direction, or bitch and moan and complain? I've never been that type. I've been tried to always fashion myself as a fighter. Number one, number two, just keep fighting. Just keep working hard, and in time, good things will happen. And frankly, in my life, I'm just very blessed, and we Cougs, that's how we're built.
So 4 head coaches in 4 years for you. How do you manage to go year after year? Like, how do you approach that next head coach? It's like at a certain point, you have to feel jaded to the point to where it's like, I can't believe a word this guy's saying.
But, and I'm glad you brought that up, Connor, because that's an important lesson. And, there are classes there at Washington State, football players that have gone now 2 coaches in 2 years. And now some of them were here, I think, when Rolo was here, and so they kind of have a similar experience. And one thing that I learned when in preparation for the Holiday Bowl, me and several former players drove down. I live in Spokane. We drove down to the practice in preparation. And I tell you what, I was so proud of that team. And to a person, they were hell bent to prove a point that losing their coach, in this case it was Jake, wasn't going to make them pitch their tent. And a lot of teams, there were a couple of teams that couldn't field the team, right? Because they lost their head coach. But the
Marshall was one of those teams. They could not field a team last year.
But what happened was you saw certain guys in the team stepping up and being leaders, learning. One of them was Zevi. Remember what Zevi did last year? I mean, it was an incredible thing to witness. And, you know, as I was going through these the wide range of emotions, a lot of my thoughts took me right to the players because I've been there. I know how they feel, and my heart aches for them. But if I were to go down there tomorrow and to talk to them, I would tell them, hey, I feel badly for you, but you know what? You got a chance to prove something, and take this program to the next level when everyone else is maybe taking us for dead. And I will guarantee you, Zevi is going to be one of those guys leading it because he's just made up that way. And I have to say that's his Kruger DNA coming through. I spoke earlier with Keith Brown, who is hurt. He's hurt. He's not playing, but he's a tremendous linebacker. And he goes, "Wow, this is wild." And I said, "So how is things going?" He goes, "Well, we're glad that Coach Bobbitt is the interim head coach, and we all know what kind of defense he put out on the field this whole year. A
good one,
great ones, right? And I'm glad that's the case." And I said, "How's the room?" He goes, "Really good." And he was telling me that I was encouraging one, "Hey, keep your head up. We've been through this before. Let's keep pounding." And that's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of spirit that us fans out here, in Cougar Nation, that if only you could experience that and talk to these players, and also, as we're all angry, but I encourage you to channel that, that anger, that emotion, those emotions in the right way to be of help, to help take us to the next level. Which, kind of uncomfortable truth. Let's face it, Jimmy was very vocal about the lack of NIL support, right? And he chumped out on us, and I get it. And when they use they always encourage, "Well, it's for my family." Well, why not set a friggin' example for your family on how to be a man of your word and honor your friggin' contract? Things like that, old school things that my generation we put a lot of stock in. But he missed that opportunity. Good luck to you. But I think Cougar Nation is at a crossroad. But the beautiful thing about this deal, and I really want to get this across to everyone who's watching or listening, we're not the sisters of the poor, guys. We so far it's been a choice to not really step up and do the things that I know we can, and we have to collectively understand where we're at. This isn't Pac-12 of 5-10 years ago. This is a new terrain. But there are other schools that don't have half of what we have. I'm talking about Boise State. Okay, they have 110,000 alums. We have 250,000 plus. The average income of a Coug far exceeds that of a Boise State, Bronco, right, alum. And you've seen those ratings, the Princeton Review, where they rank our alumni 7th in the country. Number 1 is Michigan. The one just above us is Clemson. And the only other legacy Pac-12 school was UCLA. They were number 17. And guess what? UW wasn't even in there. Oregon wasn't in there.
Where's Washington?
And so, but Oregon, what Oregon has is Uncle Phil. I get that. But as an alumni base, we need to make that choice. I just encourage us to, number one, understand the current situation of the NCAA, and we need to make the choice of stepping up so that we become relevant. Because I believe someday in the next 3 or 4 years, I think it's going to have to fall on Congress to put in the guardrails. But in the meantime, we need to stay relevant. And actually, as my buddy Robbie Tobic would always say, we need to win. We just need to win. I don't care what league we're in. We need to win, and we need to be leaders. And until that time when the guardrails do come back and this NIL craziness will subside a little bit. But the portal issue will, I think, will be tamed. Has to, because this is not sustainable. But in the meantime, we Cougs just fight with us. Jump in there and fight with and for everyone else. Let's all row in the same direction.
And I wanted to table off of a few things you said on just some of the leaders.
Dylan's out. He'll get the next question when he gets his tech figured out. My initial thought is Washington State needs a coach that is deeply rooted in Washington State University culture and the Pacific Northwest ties. That's just my initial opinion. And it's like, there's obviously a lot of issues going on, including, we're finding an AD, various other stuff. But do we need to find a coach that is deeply rooted on the Palouse at this point?
Yes. A year ago, and I'm just being totally upfront with you guys. And last year, I didn't really have an opportunity to weigh in. I did, but no one really listened. That's fine. And then when that selection was made, I did what good Cougs should do, and that is to fall in line and support. And but for the last couple coaching picks, I've been a stalwart in saying, what's the succession plan, right? And if it's not a Coug, as you said, Connor, in terms of the head coach with strong ties either to this area or to WSU, how about we have some great football minds who played for the Cougs on that staff? We're different, so we need to approach this a little differently. And to have, we got guys like Peyton Pallure, Michael Bumpus, Luke Falk. Last year, I tried to introduce Luke into the mix, but it just didn't fit. Are you kidding me? How does Luke Falk not fit? Give me a freaking break. And and the list goes on. Steve Broussard, one of the best running back coaches around, and definitely one of the best running backs ever to put on a crimson and gray. This is the kind of stuff it's just no brainer. But this is Washington State University. It may not fly, say, in other schools, but it's part of our DNA. And I think the Cougar Nation, the alums, will take solace in the fact that there is a Broussard or a Peyton Pallure on the staff, and promoting the Cougar ethos, if you will. And so this year, this go around, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm sorry. I'm at the age I don't care anymore.
You're going to be up there knocking on the door.
I'm going to chime in. My phone has been blowing up, off the hook like it has the last 3 coaching changes. From people that will just knock your socks off. But what I do is that I humbly tell them that I'll submit your name to the powers that be and whatnot, and sometimes those powers that be will listen or whatever. But it's just sometimes so obvious, and how many generations are we are we apart? A lot, right? But we're still made of the same Cougar DNA. And you know what I'm talking about. How
same passion.
Can you imagine if we had a Peyton Pallure on the staff, or again a Michael Bumpus? Come on, give me a break.
Peyton's winning like Coach of the Year over there on the West Side in high school right now for Skyline.
Exactly. And so for me, I at least would know that the Cougar ethics, the love of Washington State University is being promoted from within. And I feel that's a sustainable model. And so, if that head coach happens to leave, well, guess what? We have a succession plan. I'll get off my soapbox.
Hey, no worries. And sorry, my internet cut out there right when I jumped on, but I did have a story just drop on Coug Fan. It's takes a look into the whole view of that meeting room at 5:15 p.m. tonight. We had a source close to the football program share some information with us. But you talked about Christian Hilburn and Zevi Eckhouse, the senior leadership. And, I'll share a few quotes from the story. It is behind a paywall. Please support Coug Fan. But Yeah, Christian Hilborn. I've played in 3 bowl games without 3 head coaches. Shit's not new. Same situation that we've been in before. Zevi Eckhouse echoed, hey, we need to give these seniors one last ride in this bowl game.
Listen,
Also heard that Christian Hilborn was up speaking in a lit up Grinch
Ugly sweater.
Christmas
Really?
ugly sweater.
Yeah.
So
I
it
love
was
it. Dylan, let me tell you a story, a little backtrack, behind the scenes. It was I had, like I said, I had 4 head coaches in 4 years. Well, one of the turnovers, the head coach wanted to get the team together. I want to talk to them. And we had heard that he had already accepted the job elsewhere. And we as a team, we reluctantly, showed up to that meeting room. And I had a teammate, dear friend, who became a dear friend, George Arnold. He's no longer with us, but he was a longtime coach, played in the NFL for 14 years. And he was a nose guard. And George was sitting just maybe 3 or 4 seats away from me. And that head coach who was leaving us, he starts talking. George stands up and he points at me and said, and he dropped like 4 or 5 F-bombs. He said, and you know what? I ain't gonna effing stay here. Get out of here. Your history. You're wasting my time. He gets up and he starts to leave. Everyone else left with him. That's the Cougar spirit. I mean, we realize, it's all about us, the players, and this is something we were all going to learn from. And frankly, those dog days of Washington State helped make, create that foundation, because my last coach was Jim Walden, a man of his word, of integrity, and high character. He preached it, but more importantly, he walked it. And he was, those of us who got to play for Coach Walden, we'd run through a brick wall for him because of the way he lived his life and mentored us. And he stuck around for 9 years. But guess where he left to go after us? He went to Iowa State University. Golly, talking about history repeating itself. But he gave us 9 years, and he took us to a bowl game, first time in 40 years or something like that. So
he's still talking on the radio. He's hilarious to listen to. I love Coach Walden. I mean, he enters the room and he is the life of the party. I mean, he is a great man and a great Coug. Going back to how you go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then, I don't know how many years he put in at Iowa State, but clearly he didn't like it there, because where does he live? Here. Coach Price, where does he live? Here. Coach Erickson, where does he live? He has a place here. They all come back home. Let's face it. And like I said, we're going to make it. And I will say this. I'm happy, really happy that we have Betsy Cantwell as our president, because she's a tough cookie. And and I can only imagine how pissed off she is, given, how much she supported Jim. But you know what? We all learn. And now let's get better for it. And if I get a chance to chime in, I will. I'm not going to go shy. Like I said, I'm too old to be shy anymore. Usually I just go ahead.
So have they kept you basically completely out of it this past entire season, or have you been involved at all?
Last year, yeah. I mean, there are some. How do I put it? I hate using the example of patting on the back on the head type of thing. And thank you very much, Jack. BS.
Keith Brown giving you a shout out right now, Jack.
What's that?
Keith Brown, Cougar linebacker, giving you a shout out right now.
Was that right? I love Keith.
Harry, he wants you for head coach. How about it?
Put your hat in the ring.
Yeah, I owe you that $20 now, Keith. But I'll tell you, Keith, he missed this year, but I see him every time I go to practice and he's there. The dude is a freaking Coug. He really is. I mean, he is since since the time he came to us, Jake was the head coach then. You can tell the guy, there's something about him that, he belonged here. And so then you look at, again, we're going, back through the names of these kids, Hilborn, Zevi. I love Zevi.
Josh Meredith.
The dude, he's a leader. And he led us last year this year. I'm just only hoping he leads us to a victory, right? And finish it off right for this senior group, that's for sure. And, I was going to also touch bases on another very important, the NIL deal, right? You know that I was one of the co-founders of the Cougar Collective. I see people, I saw a couple people, they actually gave more because they got the right idea. Don't be in this wishy-washy, deal. We're in this for our school. And I just encourage all of those. I mean, I think we raised, we got our membership of the 1890 up by 600 in the last 3 months or so. And things were going great. But now this is when the true test of who we are as Cougs and what we're about and what we believe in. Jimmy, God bless you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, okay? And that's how I feel. And let's go get that next person. And to your point, Connor, I believe it's really important that we have ties, that we can, as we vet, as whoever's doing the vetting, that is looked at. Unless there's an unforeseen hire that it'll really knock our socks off. I think it is important. It is important for whoever's coming in here to get it, not to learn it, but already have it when they come on the campus. And I don't know if you guys saw my nephew, Tavita Pritchard.
Yes. Congratulations on the head coaching gig from him at Stanford. A fantastic hire.
I was in tears. My wife and I were watching the introductory press conference with him and Andrew Luck, and I was so proud. But that dude, he wanted to be a Coug. And Coach Doba chose not to give him a scholarship. And he would have come to Washington State because I freaking brainwashed him with his father, David, to be a Coug. But it wasn't meant to be. He went down to Stanford, had a great career. But he was born to be a Stanford head coach. And because he got it. No one had to teach him anything. And when he walked in through those doors, everyone knew it. This is the right pick, right? Now, is there Tavita Pritchard, in the mix for us? I don't know yet. I haven't talked to the people yet who's taking phone calls. I'm getting, like I said, my phone is blowing up with calls.
John Gruden, where are you at?
Yeah, you did the one I just got here. But anyway, a lot of great Cougs calling in saying, I'm here. Throw my name in there. And
quick pause. Sorry.
Yeah.
Quick pause.
We've got 1,300 people in here right now. Let's see how many people can Venmo the Cougar Collective right now. And add a note. Jack Thompson and Cougs on the Couch sent me here. Whatever it's got to be. Let's see how much we can raise. We've got over 1,300 people in here right now. Let's make a difference tonight.
And Dylan, can I add in there?
Of course.
Any amount of money you guys send, God bless you. I love it. But join the 1890 Club.
Yep.
I really encourage you to join the 1890. Let's build that. I mean, the Cougs, we buy 26,000 license plates every year. We outdo all the other schools combined. It's that crazy Cougar element in all of us, and turn that into the 1890 a month, and get your friends, get your parents, your whatever, get the Cougs to jump in on the 1890 Club, because that is sustainable. And if we get it to where we have 20,000 Cougs on the 1890 Club, We'll compete against anyone. You won't have, Jimmy bitching, that type of thing, right? And God bless him. He was frustrated. I get it, but I told him it's not if, it's only when. And the Cougar Nation will wake up someday, and I believe this. Once they realize who we are as an alumni base, I quoted it earlier, and what we have to give. Boise State wishes they had what we have. Okay? Oregon State wishes they have what we have as far as an alumni base. They're not even on that list that I was telling you about. And by the way, we were ranked 7th last year. Okay, so that list is something I always turn to wait. I live in Spokane. I tell the Spokane Cougs here all the time, stop taking a backseat to Gonzaga. Back when I was playing, Gonzaga was about ready to go belly up. But, God bless them. They got a basketball team. They turned things around. They really worked on their front porch, their basketball program. Well, they don't have a football program. So
shout out to Jason, sending $100 right now. Sorry to cut you off, but awesome job, Jason. Jason Fawcett sending in 100. It will help.
You're a stud, Jason. Thank you.
And again, this is the QR code. If you scan this, it'll go to the Give Butter website, which is where the collective wants you to go to. You can join the 1890 Club. You can also join a higher membership on a monthly basis. You can do one-time donations. At the minimum, join the 1890 Club, $18.90 a month. That's like $227 a year. I mean, like we all talk about, how much do you spend at the bar watching a game? Just donate that to keep the players and pull them in and to boost this NIL to the point to where it really should be.
Hey, Jack, one name I wanted to talk about, and it is a non-Cougar name, Jason Eck. Obviously we know his time at Idaho, now at New Mexico. I think that would be a fantastic hire, in my opinion. But what do you think about that possibility?
Well, he has territory, the knowledge, right? He was at Idaho, did killer job there. And certainly did a killer job at New Mexico. My question is, he's been at New Mexico 1 year, right? And I don't know what that buyout is. I know last year there were several people that called me, but their buyouts were astronomical, and but from a head sense, Dylan, that makes sense. A guy like him. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. Half the text messages I've had is gotta get Eck, and I haven't been able to get back to them, but I get it. I understand that, and that would make sense if something like that came about. But there are a lot of other people that can really fit this.
No, absolutely. I can't wait to put together an article with 5-6 different names. I guess that's the cool thing about hiring a new coach, is seeing who might be able to come in here and keep this fire. But just kind of looking at the season, I wanted to play Jimmy Rogers' initial press conference.
I'm about people, and I'm about as loyal as it gets. And I know that word has been thrown around here, and people don't want to hear it. But I don't know if you can show that after 19 years in one place, build a national championship program day after day. So I do plan to do that here. But Aaron McCoy entrusted me to run a program, and with that, I'm blessed, and I don't take those blessings for granted. Our staff that will be put in place here will love this team unconventionally, and we're going to push them to new heights.
Sorry, I just puked in my mouth.
Yeah.
For a second. I'm as low as they get. Come on, man.
And so Jimmy took a 5-year deal at Washington State. I'm looking at the contract, $1.57 million. I mean, how much was he making at South Dakota State? Probably a few $100,000, maybe $500K. He probably tripled his salary heading out to Washington State. He took a 6-year deal at Iowa State. It's in the few $1 million range, you have to imagine. But like,
of course, around
around four. Yeah, I mean, it's like I went back to, it's like, at what point can you keep believing what these guys actually have to say? I mean, it's like,
No, it's a BS. I'm sorry.
And, I'll leave it with.
I'll drink it in. When I, 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 when when he was talking. But it's too bad. These are definitely different times. But you know what? There are people that who honor their word, and they conduct themselves accordingly. And that's just the reality. Sad to see that. And by the way, getting back to the Cougar Collective, I want to tell you something. It's made up of all volunteers, and
right. 97% of the funds go directly to the players.
It's like the Salvation Army in terms of how much money that's donated that actually gets to where they're supposed to go to. And I'm just really lucky to work with the guys that look at this.
Check that out. You want to read that?
Whoa.
Read that for Cougar fans right now.
Read that, Jack.
Update. We got the Cougar Collective update. We need 2 more new members or upgrades to hit the 600 members by 2026 goal and earn an extra $200,000. Come on, guys.
Let's go. Come on.
So
Tim and Luke are just doing phenomenal work, and they are doing volunteer work. These guys have a 9-to-5 family, and they are doing everything they can to help move the needle for this NIL collective.
Writing the contracts, they're doing all this stuff on the side. Imagine how much work it takes to manage the entire NIL.
I can go down the list. I mean, we have some real characters in Wade Hogue. You guys know who Big Wade is. And Brian Hurley, who's a master in all things marketing and TV and whatnot. And, CJ McCoy, you guys know who CJ is, right? He's the head of Old Crimson. He helps coordinate. I mean, he heads up that club that gets the flag from one place to the next. And these people, this gang of Morgan Weaver.
Yep.
Just she joined our board. Anything up my memory?
Yeah, no, Morgan Weaver.
Yeah,
we've heard only good news from Morgan Weaver. She's got a ton of ideas. She's coming in barrels blazing. And I tell you,
and she puts up with no BS with the rest of this motley crew that we call the Cougar Collective board. I mean, she's tough.
I tell you, Jack, when you take a look at your Mount Rushmore of Cougar athletes, Morgan Weaver is on that list, in my opinion. Damn good player.
Oh. Yeah. And she remains a damn good player right now. I mean,
got to get healthy. Got to get that knee back, and she'll be back on the pitch.
Well, we need a new soccer coach, right? Come on, Morgan. Oh, God. I just thought about that. Jeez, she'd be awesome. But, again, my hat's off to the rest of the guys in Morgan in the Cougar Collective. They really do work their asses off. And I love seeing this, the updates going on. And thank you to all of you who are watching and you step in. This is the time to step in. When the shit hits the fan, you jump in. That shows character. Of course, we want everyone to join in when things are going great. But I love those who jump in when things aren't going too smoothly, like right now. It shows a lot of character, and I really respect and admire this. So thank you, guys.
I guess just one off thought. What are the odds that maybe Jesse Bobbitt sticks around at Washington State? This is his second stint at Washington State. I mean, he's moving into the interim head coach for the bowl season. You have to imagine that Rogers is taking his entire staff, but I mean, that's a potential guy that has somewhat ties
last
here.
Year there was multiple interim coaches that ended up.
Yeah.
So we still need to wait this out and see if he's actually going to coach the team. Yeah, the reports are.
And this is second round with us, right? Jesse had been with us before once.
Yeah, exactly. That was, yep.
And I wanted to share one thing too from the story. Again, it is behind a paywall. Please join CougarFan.com. A WSU player who requested anonymity said Cougar players from South Dakota State said Rogers long considered Iowa State and Iowa his dream destinations, and that he would stay in Pullman forever unless he gets an offer from one of those two. That just tells me, look, Matt Campbell has been in this coaching carousel for like the last 5 or 6 seasons. So obviously SDS or Iowa State's athletic department has had some sort of plan just in case Campbell, whether it was the NFL, whether it was this, now it's Penn State. And in the story, I say, hey, he had a relationship with someone at Iowa State. And basically it came to a head today, and he got the offer and he was gone.
It was today. It all happened today. He got the offer today. He accepted. Like, everything happened in one day, which is wild.
Well, whatever. I don't care about him right now. I'm glad you kind of gave perspective there, Dylan, because that goes back to vetting, right?
Absolutely.
And it goes back to what you said earlier, Connor, in terms of the ties that would cause you to stay here. Those matter.
Yeah.
Those matter. And I'm just gonna be whatever, make noise to make sure that at least I'm throwing my thoughts out there. But you think Peyton would quit on us? Do you think if Jason Gesser was there, do you think he'd quit us? Hell no. You think Michael Bumpus?
It takes those types of ties to make the dollars mean a little bit less. If someone's not from the area, then they're taking the job for the leg up or the step up, and then they're going to take the next opportunity. And obviously, like it sounded like Iowa State was his dream spot. But if you get someone that's local that actually cares about what's going on here, it's not all about the number. It's about the reputation of the university and where they can take it.
You're right. And it does mean a lot, when you have people that go to work there that get it from the get-go, right? Because they spent time there and they really understand the ethos, as I call it. So, you know what, though? The more I talk to you guys, the more I know we're going to get the right person. Again, it's not if, it's only when. And this is an opportunity for Cougs to buck up. And, I'm fortunate to have a great team. And Connor, I'm in the mortgage business, and I'm so fortunate to have a team of great loan officers who work their asses up, but they get it. They do it for all the right reasons. And that they're going to put in their 8, 10, 12 hours a day, all for the right reasons. And it's a team, right? And we're going to get that back at Washington State on our football program because we need it. We have to have it. And this is where we need, the Cougar Nation to lead by example. I said earlier, the players there, they're being real Cougs, right? And they're in the thick of everything. And yet you have guys like Zebby and Hilborn, and Keith, and really stepping up. And we need to do the same as fans. I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry, guys.
And Jack, one parting thought. We've got Adam Lewis coming on here to join us too. What's your parting thought for Cougar Nation right now? As we stick with no head coach and no athletic director.
I've been on a text thread with the fellow Cougar Collective folks, and just a lot of great thoughts that were conveyed in the text messages. But one that really jumps out is old school. That came out is something to the fact that tough times don't last, tough people do. I consider myself a very tough person, and we all have our own journeys and whatnot, but I'm grateful for the time that I had at Washington State because it made me tough, made me more bold, and it makes me really appreciate fellow Cougs. It doesn't matter what the generation is. Hell, I'm talking to guys who weren't even born when I was playing. So you get what I'm talking about. At the risk of sounding too corny, this is what makes our lives as Cougars special. We're not the purple pukes, that get everything handed to them. They're city slickers. We grew up the right way. And so this is the time we need to come together. This is the time we have to come together. No more bitching.
Jack, I felt like I've been born into this. My first ever football game on campus as a transfer student to WSU was the Portland State game in the rain. I was sitting to myself, Jack, in the stands, just fresh into Washington State, California kid. What the hell did I get myself into? And I don't regret a single day of choosing to come up to Washington State. It was the best decision I ever made.
That's what I'm talking about, Dylan. That's what I'm, through a lot of goods and bad, throughout all that time. Look, my son Tony, who teaches, in the communication school, he played with Coach Doba and Paul Wolf. And let me tell you something. Those are some really lean years with Paul Wolf. God bless him. But I remember sitting in the stands. Rain was going sideways.
Oh, it was horrible.
Field by Oregon State University, like 56, 60 something to 6. But I've never left a Cougar home game ever early, and I haven't missed a home game in 21 years. So don't cry to me about, oh, it's so hard to get the BS. If the spirit is willing, you can get it done. But thanks for sharing that, Dylan. That really tested you early, didn't it?
They did. And then they said, you know what? Here's Portland State. How about we put on the wrong wristbands for Eastern Washington the following season?
Oh my God. Boy, that gives me the EBGBs, Eastern Washington. Oh,
that's another deep cut. All right. Well, Jack, we can't thank you enough. You're a beacon and a flag bearer for this university. What you have done for Cougs and continue to do, it does not go unnoticed. And we appreciate you jumping on we got Jack Thompson for 41 minutes tonight, Connor.
Thank you, guys. It's been a real pleasure. And just keep up the work and keep preaching. Just keep preaching.
Thank you, Jack. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
Thanks, guys. Go Cougs.
There we have it. There's Jack Thompson, the throwing Samoan,
so now,
the legend. Huh?
My bad. Adam is got a different viewpoint right here. He's coming in.
All right, Adam, let's let it rip.
I didn't get to hear all of Jack.
This brown liquor's not gonna drink itself tonight.
God, I just got back from dinner. I had a couple red ales at Crockett's Public House in Puyallup, which is a great spot if anybody's ever gone through there. But just a kind of surreal evening, to say the least. I feel like I should have been opening for Jack Thompson rather than vice versa. So thank you guys for having me on. When I saw that Matt Campbell took the Penn State job earlier today, I messaged a couple of my friends. I said, this could happen with Jimmy. Like, there's a small chance. I didn't think
part of my brain thinking the same.
Yeah, but I was like, no, he's been here 1 year. We went 6-6. It wasn't like we went 9-3.
How much momentum?
Sorry to cut you off, Adam. Brandon said if somebody matches him, he's donating $500 tonight. So let's get that on the burner.
Keep it going. I love that.
But hey, jump in.
No. So when that happened, I thought, maybe, but then all those factors kind of working against it. I also said to my friend group, I said, how funny would it be if he took the job after his opening press conference, where he was basically telling everyone that he was going to teach us the meaning of loyalty, more or less.
Hold on. Let's
actually play that clip.
I've got a live feed of Jimmy Rogers today.
Would I ever leave this company? Look, I'm all about loyalty. In fact, I feel like part of what I'm getting paid for here is my loyalty. But if there were somewhere else that valued that loyalty more highly, I'm going wherever they value loyalty the most.
Exactly.
The Office, It literally has a clip for anything you need in life.
Yeah, Dwight Schrute, just one of the all-time great characters in television history.
You want me to drop the actual Jimmy real quick for you?
No, I've seen it enough. I don't want to ever see his face again, honestly.
He's going where loyalty matters the most.
Yeah. It was interesting that Penn State, ended up going with Campbell or got him after their coaching search was a total disaster.
BYU screwed us. They wanted Kalani.
Yeah. I mean,
that Mormon money. Man,
that Jed Fish is still at UW in this coaching cycle, and we lost Jimmy Rogers after 1 year is just especially, I don't even know what the word, painful or weird or whatever. But, you know, then I was thinking about it more, and I'm like, it's honestly kind of surprising that we haven't had a one and done in a while, given our, you know, everything that's happened to us over the past, 10 years. You know, Willie Taggart, right? He was a one and done. Oregon had a one and done.
Yeah.
Not even 365.
Other programs, I couldn't even get 1 year in. I don't have any like inside information. I made some calls, right after it happened. I haven't heard back from a couple of the people that I know within the athletic department, but I just think it was like a weirdly unique situation where we just hired this guy who had a dream to be the Iowa State fucking coach for some fucking reason. Did you see the Athletic story on it where he knew the AD at Iowa State?
Yes, that's in my story.
Dream to be in Ames. I love Pullman too, and I'm sure Ames is a lovely place. Iowa State, honestly, great fans. We'll see if the hire works.
They do. One of my first coworkers, Big Five Sporting Goods, was a Iowa State alum, and he's in my replies. Is this good? I don't even know who this is.
Yeah, I mean, if I were them right now, I would be cautiously optimistic. I wouldn't be like, oh, slam dunk. FCS coach who rode the coattails of a legend to one good season and then went six. And then went.
I mean, last year, to be honest, like Jimmy Rogers completely took us off guard. We had no clue who he was until he was hired, and then it was like, oh, this guy seems like he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. I had never heard of him when we hired him. When that news came down the pipeline, and to his credit,
this comment I didn't realize Olzenberger was a South Dakota State before Iowa State. That guy's one of the best coaches in college basketball, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, medium polo Olzenberger.
Basically, we had somebody reach out, a WSU player who requested anonymity. Geez, I have too many drinks tonight. Good Lord.
Nailed it. It's okay.
Said Cougar players from South Dakota State said Rogers long considered Iowa State and Iowa as his dream destinations and that he would stay in Pullman forever unless he gets an offer from one of those.
I thought that Jimmy would be in Pullman for longer than we wanted him. That was like kind of I thought going into this year, at the end of this year, I honestly thought he would be like, we'd get him for 7 or 8 years. We would rip off a bunch of 7-5, 8-4 Iowa type seasons where our defense was pretty good. And we had Danny Freund still calling plays. Like that was like the shocking part of
air it out now on Danny, man. Air it out.
Yeah. Hey, he called a pretty good game at the end against Oregon State.
He did. Well, you could have too. We all
yeah,
play
that's
college
true.
That's
true. So that part of it was jarring to me. And then at first I was really concerned that, that it's so late in the cycle again, right? Like Dickert left for Wake Forest after everybody was picked over. And now Jimmy leaves, in December. I guess, what do you guys think? We have a month how long do we need to make the hire quickly? Like what is the process? We don't have an AD.
I would like to see the hire before Christmas, but I mean, let's take a look at the timeline.
Yeah.
We look at the timeline from last year. We reported Vegan flew down to San Diego to meet with McCoy. We've heard a number of other, Jamarcus Shepard interviewed for the job. Jim Mora Jr. interviewed for the job last year. And he really wanted the job.
Yeah.
And now Jim Mora's at Colorado State. Jamarcus Shepard's at Oregon State. And we're sitting here, charging my friends with our dicks in our hand, hoping Jason Eck might come over here. I put a 2.7 or a 3. Go make him the highest paid coach in the Pac-12. And you know what? If he takes off for Wisconsin in 2 years, I don't care. We need to be good next year. We need to win.
Yeah.
Is Vegan an option right now? I mean, that's a name that we were talking about last year. Of course, he's staying at Montana State.
Ryan
but
Leaf will toot the horn.
Everything I heard last year was it was Vegan's job to come to Pullman. Like it was almost done. Then he said, I really want to coach through the playoffs. And we were losing.
He said that again this year.
Right. And he said it again this year. Would we wait another week or two for him? Maybe. Does he have a bunch of guys he could bring with from Montana State?
That would be the hope.
Who we could be okay with? I really like Jason Eck.
I love
what's
it.
not to like? A big beefy.
Yeah,
we're due for a fat guy on the side.
We'll be Barstool Big Cat's favorite new school if we get Jason. We'll get maybe even we get an NIL from them.
Yeah. A part of me too is like, do we do something weird or try something different? Like take this thought may make some people shudder, but like, what if we went after like Rick Neuheisel really wants the job, set up a succession plan with him and the younger kids. So then maybe if Rick is good for 3-4 years and then he rides off in the sunset, then you have like 8 years of stability. Like, is that your edge right now in college football? If you could do that, if you could, because like, we could be one and done. We could be right back. Say we make a home run hire and get Eck, or so, pick off, say Bobbitt is just like a coaching prodigy.
Hire Brandon.
Yeah. Then hire Brandon. Is it worth doing that just to have another year and have another guy walk out?
No, I do not want Ed Oregon anywhere near Pullman. Get that out of your guys' minds. All right, I
don't think he's coming to Pullman. I'm old enough to remember when Mike Bellotti bought a house in Pullman. Do you guys remember?
Bill Belichick is looking for a job now, right?
That was.
Let's get Jordan out to Pullman. What's better than that? She's gonna love it.
Yeah. God. No, that wouldn't work. So
what about Jonathan Smith? I know that's just an easy, quick name to say.
I put him on my list. His star has certainly faded, or his shine has certainly worn off after 2 pretty bad years at Michigan State.
Michigan State donor was like, "Oh, Jonathan's gone. Let me drop you $401 million."
Yeah, that's insane.
It's just it's chess and checkers, man. This is ridiculous.
Cougar Collective pause for a second.
For
We've added another 6 members to the 1890 Club. We're now up to 208. Couch GM live stream is fire. Thank you guys at the Cougar Collective, Tim and Luke. If you haven't signed up yet, scan this QR code, join the 1890 Club or hire. At the very least, 1890. It's like $227 a year. How much money do you spend on beer on a weekend to watch a Coug game? Just keep donating. Keep just increasing the fund so that we can make this the best that we can. Yeah.
Oh, the
dive
question
into
about
that a little bit more.
Okay, so this was a message board rumor on Coug Fan, famously.
This is how Jimmy started today. Was a message board rumor.
It always does.
Really?
It always does. And I think it was. I can't remember if it was pre-Wolf or before we hired Leach, but there was a rumor that like on Coug Fan message boards that Bellotti was like, he had retired from Oregon. He was probably like 62, 63. And that like it was a done deal. And I don't know if we brought in Wolf after that or Leach. It's all, you'll have to forgive me. It's all blending together. Greg Witter, Coug Fan founder, could definitely shed more light on it, but it took off. And like we all thought we were getting Bellotti, which probably would have been a decent hire. But I don't remember if it was before Leach or before Wolf, but it was like accepted. So and of course was totally not true. It was somebody, I guess, trolling or who had bad info and I think Moose was the AD then. So it was like, oh, this makes sense, right? That he would bring in his ex guy.
What's worse, that we don't have a coach or an AD right now?
Both are bad. The only thing I would say is I really have liked what I've heard from John Harlow. You guys should get him on the pod.
Yeah.
It seems like super upbeat, has social media, loves Pullman, at least outwardly, and definitely gets it. Right now, I don't know. he probably doesn't have like the fundraising chops of like a seasoned AD just because he hasn't been in the game that long, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't be good at it. And I think he's probably a candidate for the role. I just don't understand quite why we fired Anne and didn't have. I didn't disagree with firing her, but then to just not have a guy like you would think, right? This could happen. We could always lose coaches.
Or girl.
Yeah. Maybe John is like going to be the guy.
I will say something about John Harlow. A Cougar, a great Coug that I know. Him and his wife, they sent an email just about not having enough changing rooms for the babies in the bathrooms, this and that. John Harlow emailed them back within 30 minutes and said, "Look, hey, this is a problem. We're seeing this. We're getting people on it." Just hearing that from the athletic department right now, just movement, just stuff. It's at least a good sign.
Yeah. And he didn't. If he did that with Bill Moose, he'd put you on the no bowl list. That was another. I don't know if you guys remember that, but during the early Leach years when things were going very poorly, he had heard a lot of criticism via email from donors, and then he put the people who criticized the Leach hire on a list that would disallow them from getting bowl tickets through the university.
Yeah, how's that looking now? Not too good.
Yeah, no, not great. Christian Capel wrote that story. I remember when I was in school. But it's. I mean, I guess if there was going to do one more silver lining before, we wallow a little bit more, I would say, we will probably lose a lot of guys at the portal, but all our good players are 90% of them are 50 or 24-year-old seniors.
Yeah, that's true.
From South Dakota, right? Who weren't
Kirby Voorhees. Please stay on the Palouse.
I don't. Yeah,
Kirby didn't do one media session all year. That man is probably already gone.
Yeah,
yeah, 75 new players. I mean, basically all of South Dakota State University came over. They're probably going to head to Iowa State.
Yeah, it sucks to be WSU. Also, would suck to be named Raven Midnight as well. Okay, so jokes on you, Raven. Good Lord, I'm sorry. I'm a lost cause right now.
It's a dark time for all of us. So
that's still Raven.
Yeah,
you guys remember that Disney show?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's laughing from the other room right now. My goodness.
But
no, she said I'm aging myself. Actually, sorry.
Well, that's okay.
Back to football.
I made a Mike Bellotti message board reference from 2011 tonight. So
I thought I almost made Connor leave there right now. Too much That's So Raven. But we take a look. We don't have a women's soccer coach. We have a basketball program that's in a bit of turmoil right now. We don't have a football coach. We don't have an AD. But we still have Cougar Collective beer that you can buy and drink your sorrows away and also help the cause.
That's true. Oh, there you go.
Old Crimson Legendary Lager, part of the Palouse.
$4 million, Adam.
Scan the QR code on the can. That also gets you into the 1890.
For Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State, $4 million. I mean, were we paying $700,000 for Jimmy this season?
No, it's 1.57 was the contract,
which was a joke, which was a total joke in terms of I mean, we got good value for what we were paying him, but that would be at the bottom half of the new Pac-12. Jim Mora is over $2 million.
What's stopping Cantwell from saying, you know what? Let's put our money where our mouth is, get the Board of Regents, and let's put a 2 in front of this next coach and the hire. I feel like
we're going to have to.
That needs to happen. We're the flag bearer of this conference, and we're not even paying our coach the most in it. Come on, man.
Yeah. Mike Leach, his final season, would made $4 million at WSU. And that was in 2019. And now that was 6 years ago. It's like the Mariners payroll, it just doesn't go, it doesn't go up. In fact, we've gone backwards significantly. And a lot of that is out of our control too, right? Losing out on $20 million annually in Pac-12 television and ESPN revenue. But one thing I don't know and have never heard an answer on is like, where did all our settlement money go? Like, did we not win a $240 million settlement from the outgoing schools? We certainly aren't fucking spending like it. Like like where is that money? I don't get it. Is it all on legal fees or to pay the buyouts for Utah State to reconstitute the conference? Like,
Hey,
I don't.
We may delusional, but
Why am I delusional?
Still watching. You are still watching. We might be delusional, but you are here watching, spending your time, Derek.
Yeah, it's Friday night, Derek.
God, Derek, do you
Just
not
how
have
you
any
should.
friends?
So I don't know. What would be your like dream scenario for both of you guys? I'm
Jason
like,
Eck. Jason Eck is my dream
even if
scenario.
it's 1
and
year,
I understand.
even if it's 2 years. Yeah.
Here's my thing. I think it would be 2 years, but the way Fickle, it sounds like Fickle's got 1 year left, 1 year to prove it at Wisconsin. They added, resources for him this year. We'll see how it goes. I still expect he'll probably be 7-5 and be out the door. But if he does have a good season, 8-9 wins, well, then Eck isn't on their radar for another year. And we need someone to come in here and win right away. And whether that's him bringing in a number of players and recruiting, already knowing the landscape out here, just from an X's and O's standpoint, we got pissed off watching Danny Freud all year. Take a look at what Jason Eck does with his offense, because it's really fun to watch.
Did you see our comment from the Cougar Collective about the settlement money being apportioned? So that was to just maybe funding that athletic department, I guess.
And also my assumption is that some amount of that $250 million is in equipment that the Pac-12 owns with Pac-12 networks and all that stuff. I could be wrong, but that's the assumption of it's not all cash.
What about Wilcox? That's another name.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Hold up. We got another $500 donation from the collective at Wazoo Brick. Shout out Wazoo Brick.
I'm bricked
he's
up.
The one that donated. And again, here's the QR code. Scan that if you haven't already. Check out Cougar Collective. But
we'd love to see it. We'd love to see it. So, yeah, I mean, if you could sign me up for 2 years of Jason Eck right now, then I wouldn't say no.
Okay, so now let's get Jason Eck's name out of the way. Jonathan Smith's name out of the way. We're not even going to mention Wilcox. Who's the sleeper? Who's somebody that you're looking at? Like, okay, is Bob it? Like, I don't want to do this again. Giving the job to an interim DC, and we'll even see if he's coaching the Cougs in 2 or 3 weeks. That dust is not even settled yet. It's easy to say, oh yeah, hey, I'll do it. Well, until Jimmy gives them the lane. If you're not on this airplane, you're not coming with me.
Could we pay more than a Big 12 defensive coordinator to be the head coach? Would we?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
that's not the right move. So give me a name that's out of the box here.
I Peyton Pallure. Somebody throwing that.
What about Luke
there.
Falk?
We were talking earlier about the Pacific Northwest roots.
I would not give someone with zero coaching experience the job. That would not be my. I don't hate the idea of bringing in somebody who's closer to the program or maybe an alum with some connections. It doesn't mean they'd stay here forever if they were successful, but maybe you could get them for 4 or 5 years.
People keep saying Mike Gundy in the chat.
That would be entertaining, maybe. But Jeff Banks, long rumored. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's the special teams coach at Texas and a WSU alum. I believe he was a punter on one of our successful, maybe the '88 team. He's been mentioned. Yeah, that could be maybe something out of the box. Kirby Moore, you hear that name a lot. Yes, he would have to bring. Honestly, it could be a good fit. Yeah.
Cruden's got me feeling nicey.
I think my most out of the box would be bringing back Neuheisel and then doing like a Dick Bennett, Tony Bennett thing, and like having some stability there where you like have a succession plan. I don't think it would happen. I know he really wanted the job last year. He'd be a great fundraiser, and in a time that's all about money, like that guy owns a room. Like he would shine at all of our fundraising events, something that Jimmy did not do. which I saw firsthand. So that'd be mine, but I don't know. I'm not really going to be excited whatever we do. How about that? It's hard to be like, oh wow,
That glass is half empty over there. Let's get it.
Well, yeah, especially when it's back to back years, it's just that much tougher to feel any emotion because you're just kind of jaded at. Okay, we saw what happened with Dickert. We were pissed off. We went through that cycle, and now we're excited. And okay, now it's the exact same thing. So it's like, it's going to take some time, and they've got to prove it.
100%, 100%. And it doesn't
tampering. Tony just added me. He said Kirby Voorhees is at my office drinking right now in a sling along with other players.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love
it. If you guys
it.
want to jump on the live stream, send us an email. We got you.
Yeah, if you have anything you want to say about Jimmy, now is the time. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, will he try to raid the roster? I mean, you know who he could take. You know who'd be a great candidate for him at Iowa State is Angel Johnson. He finished on a high note. I think he's got some momentum headed into 2026.
That 1.8 yards per carry got up to 2.8 with the last game. All right, sorry, Angel. That
was a cheap shot.
So from the collective, 600 new members have been added before 2026, which has unlocked a $200,000 gift due to the generosity of you, the Coug fans. This is from the Cougar Collective. So the Cougar NIL just got another $200,000 tonight. So thank you all to those of you that have joined the 1890 Club.
It's a big night.
That's great, honestly. And, we need more, obviously, from fans to support the team and from a financial perspective. And so, that's a small step, but it's a good step. And, yeah, I really hate, this discourse of, WSU. I love Robbie Tobeck. Let me preface this by one of my favorite all-time Seahawks, all-time Coug, great founding member of the collective, but he tweeted that basically we're in this position because we're not supporting the team enough, either financially or, with attendance at games. But we're in this position because the conference collapsed. Let's not do some revisionist stuff here. The reason there was, 8,000 people at the Louisiana Tech game is because we were playing Louisiana Tech in late November without a conference. And, if we're playing UCLA and, we're still in the Pac-12, there's going to be more support there. This fan base has endured more BS.
Brian Dable
than anyone. So other than maybe Oregon State.
One thing I did want to bring up too, and I just totally lost my train of thought, but oh gosh.
It's okay.
What I'll just add is that Brock Huard tweeted out, so many college football teams and fan bases have been treated poorly by the chaos of college sports in recent years. I'd argue no fan base has endured more than the loyal WSU fans, hoping for stability and better days ahead of Wazoo and the Cougs. I mean, it's name a university that's going through it tougher.
Speaking of the Louisiana Tech game, that's what brought it up. I was listening to Greg Woods about 30 minutes before we started our show, and he divulged a story about how he posted a photo of the attendance of the Louisiana Tech game. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, everybody goes to their press conference. 10 minutes later, after the presser ends, Greg gets a DM from Jimmy basically saying hey man, why are you posting this? This hurts us in recruiting, this and that. And it's from Greg's standpoint, it's what do you want him to do? He's the beat writer for the Spokesman Review. This is his job, right?
Yeah.
So, he just kind of mentioned how it was weird. It's he wasn't even following him, but he's seeing it. So obviously there's some staffer that's got every writer or somebody that's saying something bad about Danny Freund on a list somewhere. I mean, that's the best I can take it.
And you know what I would say to Jimmy? I was there at the Apple Cup. It was a sold-out stadium, and you gave up 59 points. So, and you didn't know who your quarterback was somehow until week 4.
Can we talk about how big of a freaking joke that was to start the year?
Okay, so get over yourself. Attendance was not great. for a couple late season games. It will be it would have been, I don't know what next year will hold, but I would imagine it'll be probably a little bit better with playing for a conference. And
Kirby Moore, that is a sneaky name as well. Isn't he from the state of Washington?
Kirby Moore, Prosser High School, which is probably 2 hours from Pullman. Obviously played at Boise State. Hopefully that would not be his dream job if we did bring him in. His dad, Tom, was like comes from a coaching family, a legendary high school coach in the state of Washington. Absolutely tore up my high school in my senior year in the state championship, Linden versus Prosser. Had a decent career at Boise State, and I think he probably would run a fun offense, and does have some ties. It was rumored last time too, so I would not be. I haven't looked in. Is he at Missouri? I think maybe I didn't look at their. I know they've been pretty good, but
yeah. Somebody just commented, didn't Mizzou's coach just get nicked? I don't know if Eli Drinkowitz is gone.
He just signed an insane deal, like $10 million a year. Eli Drinkowitz did. Yeah, where everyone was like, "What? Eli Drinkowitz got $10 million a year?" So, he maybe would want to be closer to home, and I wouldn't be against that at all.
Thoughts on Tim Plow, UC Davis? He's done a pretty good job down there.
Googling. How about Paul Wolf?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go back in order to start over.
You know where
Shout
I'm
out
going to go.
Matthew McConaughey.
You know where I'm going to go next then with that. Would you? Okay. And I might get kicked off the podcast for bringing this up, but Rolovich, would you take him back? Would you take Nick Rolovich back?
I'd be open to it.
He's not coming back.
I'm just saying
money first. Yeah.
I mean, how many other people are on the list? But
are they
I just didn't see enough. What did he coach? 4 games?
I believe I think he was 3-3 overall. We had the COVID season.
Agree. The quarterback decision making at the beginning of the season shook my confidence early on Rodgers, and it did with everybody. I think a lot of people felt the same way. And then, the 59-10, 59-24 happens. You turn that around, go to Colorado State, win 20-3, and all of a sudden you nearly beat Ole Miss on the road.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, Jimmy." And I was one of them.
Here's the one thing with Rodgers too, coming back next year. Like, I think Bobbitt's a good defensive coordinator, but like we lost a ton of guys on defense, and like
Tucker, Durant, Humphrey,
right.
Colson, Francel. I mean, there's like 6 or 7.
I think my fear going into next year, if we had Jimmy, was the defense would take a step back because of personnel, and then we'd still have the Danny Freund experience on the other side. And it's like, what does that look like in a new Pac-12? Like, that looks like 5-7.
He was kidding.
Yeah. I mean,
since we're on, what are the exact rules for, head coach leaves? How long is the portal open for the players on the team with guys that just signed on Wednesday for National Signing Day? Are those all void now because the head coach is leaving also?
I don't know. How do you go through that as Jimmy? How do you do that press conference? I watched it the other day. He seems excited for him. And then he's just
like watching Dickert's presser at Wake Forest. I'm curious to see Jimmy's at Iowa State now. The same type of thing,
Yeah. Like, how you have to be like because liar to be a head coach.
That conversation was on Wednesday, that presser. Apparently it all happened today, to where he was offered it today. He accepted it. Everything happened today, apparently. So
bullshit. I feel like there had to have been some sort of line. If he's telling the players that he has some sort of relationship with somebody in that athletic department, this was always the move. But like, when was Campbell going to leave? Like, that's another thing. It's like, he never left. So it just got to this point every year, coaching carousel, Matt Campbell. Well, no, he's staying put. And like I said, again, Kalani not going to Penn State. And then there's the whole aspect. I mean, what's the agent's name that has everybody signed? Jimmy Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
There's that whole conspiracy that Jimmy Sexton was plotting against Penn State, renewing all, like Eli Drinkowitz renewal. All these coaches are getting their, re-signed, and they're screwing out Penn State. And who ends up getting fucked? It's us, out of everybody. Who would have thunk it?
The more chaos, the worse it always is for us. Right when we think we're safe, there's just like, oh, that was unexpected. And then here's going to be some like butterfly effect that will inevitably screw WSU in the end.
No, seriously, after the season, it's like bowl eligibility year one, like heading in with a ton of momentum, like great signing class, all this stuff. And then it's the most unexpected thing that you could think of.
Yep. We felt good for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
back in the same spot we were last year, but a shittier bowl, not in San Diego.
Yeah,
man.
They're gonna be potato bowl.
And when we took a look at the class last year, Jimmy did a pretty good job at keeping guys in that Dicker class. Obviously, like the Steel Pizzellas left and a couple other guys left, but man, I just think it's a way different situation this year because you had a lot of junior guys that were at the Hillborns, the Merediths, the Zevies, this and that were going to stay. I just don't think you have like a loyalty here. Like, we've got a 25-year-old agent telling Kenny Worthy what the best decision for him is going to be in his life. I took a look at that agent I looked him up. He's still taking shirt off photos on the golf course with the boys, drinking Coronas. This is ridiculous that these kids are in this sphere in space taking who knows how much, 10 or 15%, when the NFL caps their agents at 3.99%. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, woe is me, Dylan. Yeah, I am going to be woe is me. All right? Lordy.
Yeah, it's not a fun game to play. I guess maybe it was a bad sign when as soon as we lost the Apple Cup, like Jimmy was already complaining about NIL.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That slipped,
and then he apologized on Monday.
Yeah.
No, you let your true colors out. Everybody saw it too.
And you'd think like coming from South Dakota State, at first he would have been like, we don't have the strongest NIL here.
That's pretty funny. I like those commercials. Those commercials are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. You would think that like he would have been somewhat happy with, having a little bit more, but I guess it wasn't enough for him.
Well, Adam, any parting thoughts for you on this? I know we've got 5,000 people in here. Oh my goodness, Cougs. Make a donation. Cougar Collective. We've been kicking ass with it all night. That's the one thing we can take from tonight is the Cougs showed out on the stream in terms of donating, and we have now a $200,000 match coming at us. So fantastic. But yeah, folks, I'm going to plug it again. Take a look at the story. Follow Coug Fan. We've got a bunch coming out. We've got I don't know if it came out while we're on, but we're going to hear from Luke Falk and a number of other players on what their thoughts are from the move. Hey, if we move back to the air raid, let's bring in, I know you said no Luke on zero coaching experience, but, bring him in as an OC or offensive, quality guy, quarterback coach, something. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I want to read you guys a text. I'm not going to reveal who said this, but he's a former sports journalist, pretty acclaimed, who follows the Cougars closely. He's an adopted Coug who's followed Jimmy's career closely. And we'll end on this note. And it's definitely going to be like we didn't want him anyway, but I kind of like this perspective. Here he texted me, "Our sweet boys will be betrayed by much better men and much better coaches than Jimmy Rogers. He's just lucky he somehow got paid. He was never the forever answer. Now the Cougs get to start over with somebody fun, without having to cover a buyout. He was always B- at best in results, D in personality at a time when they need a true leader of men to drive us forward. This is a hidden blessing. Fuck Jimmy. So I like that perspective. I don't know if it's 100% right, but if they go out and make a good hire, we still got the new conference next year, and I think a fan base that would jump back in quickly if we started winning. If we start being good, right, in the new Pac-12, I think people
we're gonna
come.
I'll leave with this too. Jimmy said you have two thoughts to the players in the team meeting tonight. He said you can have two responses. You can either enjoy the time we had together, 6-6, or you can say fuck this guy.
I think I know.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we know where we stand.
And I mean, in reality, we're going to be pissed for a weekend. They're going to hire someone. We're going to be ecstatic. And then we're going to be back on here being like, we're so back. We're so back.
We never fucking left, boys. Come on. Go Cougs.
Go
Thank
Cougs.
you, everyone, for tuning in to the live stream. All of you that joined the 1890 Club, we really appreciate it. The Cougar Collective appreciates it. Subscribe to the Couch GM. Make sure to follow our Cougs on the Couch podcast for more episodes like this. Adam, thanks for jumping on. Go Cougs, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Go Cougs.
I do have to give a shout out to the podcast, the Couch GM Pod.